All right, good morning. It's December 19th, 10:30 a.m. This is the North Whatcom Fire District 21 Board of Commissioners special meeting. And I will call it to order and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, before we do roll call, I would like to introduce our new fire commissioner, Craig Anthony. Would appreciate your willingness to step up and join our organization. I know that you come with a lot of experience from California, and we look forward to some insights that you may have as we go through this challenging process of trying to figure out how to fund and keep this organization running. So welcome. Thank you. And again, we appreciate you willingness to step up. So with that, we'll do roll call. I'm Bruce Ansel.
Kimberly McMurray.
John Crawford.
Craig Anthony.
Joel Nielsen.
Matt Rigberg by Zoom.
Thank you, Matt. And Jessica is here today.
Jessica Kohler.
Thank you. All right. First order of business before we get into the public hearing is to take care of the Volunteer Pension Board. I'll open that meeting at 10:32. And we have the November 21 minutes. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Chief, anything else for the volunteer?
No, sir.
Okay, so I will adjourn the Volunteer Pension Board meeting, and then because this is our budget approval meeting, it is a public hearing, and I will open that public hearing at 10:33. Is there anyone from the public that has expressed an interest in speaking? Okay, hearing and seeing none, it is our responsibility to give the public an opportunity to comment. And since no one has here expressed an interest, I will close the public hearing and open our special Board of Commissioners meeting with the first item being the Budget Resolution 2024-10. We have that resolution in our packet. And is there a motion to approve the budget resolution? Is there a second?
Look for a second.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That way we can actually move forward and discuss it if there's any need to. Chief, do you want to walk us through this resolution? I know that the one that is in our packet has a different date than the one that's...
Yeah, yours is correct. Any that I printed out are correct.
All right. So just for clarification again, Jenny, the first one, the tax revenues and budget for the year 2024, that's still the way it reads?
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one that was.
Yeah. So for me personally, it was confusing that we're approving the 2025 budget, but in the resolution, it talks about 2024.
Yes, because it's based on the 2024 valuations.
Sure. Well, I know, but this one appears. Thank you.
Just point that out.
I know. Appreciate Sorry, Chief.
That's all right. So we have not received final numbers from the county yet, so we're still working off. That was one of the questions the District 4 commissioners had, was that the numbers seem the same. Yes, they are. So what this resolution calls out is the assessed, or the estimated assessed valuation of the district, which is the $9,335,490,555 based on the levy calculation. Gives us the district a tax revenue of $7,190,861.52. That is the 1% increase plus the new construction. Thank you, which comes out to. Let me go back to my.
Like 212,000 or something.
Correct, and it's a increase for us of 3.13%. So it's 2.13% in new construction plus the 1% levy limitation. That is what this resolution allows the county to deposit those funds in the expense fund for the district.
Is there a time requirement by the county to provide the right numbers to us?
Not that I'm aware of.
But there is a requirement for us to adopt a budget based on their predictions that they are supposed to give to us.
Predictions and deadlines, 100% yes.
All right.
Jenny and I may have had this discussion already.
Well, it's frustrating for me as a board member to know that we are being required to provide an approved budget to them with a deadline, yet they don't provide us with the numbers that we're supposed to work off of before the deadline that we have to meet with them.
Right.
So I just kind of wanted to go on record saying that it seems a little unfair to me.
Jessica, do you know if there's a date, since you used to be a former county employee? Do you know if there's a date that they have to have final number?
I'm not aware of that date. I worked in a different department.
All right.
And what are the ramifications if we don't submit ours in a timely fashion because they haven't given us their numbers in a timely fashion?
I don't know that I've ever seen what the ramifications are. I just adhere to the deadline that they give us. I've never pushed back on that.
I mean, in the big picture, the numbers all get worked out and whatever we adopt is amendable. I don't know that we foresee any huge changes in the numbers. Is
No.
fair to say. It's just more of a sense that we have to play by the rules, but they don't necessarily have to. And that kind of makes people a little questioning of how our government process works.
I will say that Jessica and I were working with someone in the assessor's office. They're definitely looking out for us. If they see us project too low, they'll kick it back to us as we're working those numbers in November. They did return some things to us for both districts and say, hey, I think you might want to rework these numbers. Try this, try this, try this. And then once we finally got it to where they were certain that we weren't going to leave any tax revenue on the table, they were like, yes, let's go ahead and we would recommend you submit those numbers. So
I'm thinking of
and it used to be prior, from what I understand, prior to 2020, or 2019, excuse me, prior to 2019, the county used to just tell you what the numbers were. There wasn't this whole big, here's the calculation, here's how you do it, here's some numbers we think are going to work. They just told you, this is your tax revenue.
So now they're showing us the map.
Now they're showing us the map.
Yes. That's an improvement.
There's just not much of an instruction manual.
Maybe when I talk to the auditor today, I'll ask them what their thoughts.
Yeah.
All right, so we have 24-10, adopting the tax revenues and the budget for the year. Is there anyone else have any questions or comments? There was opportunity to meet with staff and go over this. So here's your last chance before we.
So if we have questions on the budget as proposed, now's the time to ask, or is that later on?
Line item questions or?
Yes, if you have any questions about taking money out of the reserves, where's the best place to bring that up?
That's fine.
So first I want to comment that I did have the opportunity to go over and talk to Jessica and the chief about the budgeting process and the personnel. I can say I've never seen anything done so well, such a detailed level, so extremely well done. Thank you. My concerns has to do with using 1.6 million, hopefully not all of it, but right now to budget 1.6 out of the reserves. Is that 1.6, any of that one-time expense? Or should I expect a year from now, it'll be the same ballpark number?
No, none of it's one-time expenditure. The 1.6 out of reserve is also the exact same amount that we budgeted for overtime. After having the budget study session in November, we heard a couple commissioners concerned about reducing the overtime budget in 2025 when we still have so many vacancies. We've got promotions on the table. We're planning on hiring people, but we also don't know exactly how that's going to flesh out. We worked out a calculation of what we thought bringing those people on would be, what the reduction in overtime would be. But after listening to some wise counsel, I was kind of told that you should probably let it ride for one more year, and then you'll have a better idea of how those numbers flesh out. So for that reason, we went ahead and fully funded overtime at 1.6 million, which also happens to be the potential transfer from reserve. So no, none of it's for capital expenses, none of it's for equipment.
So let me continue with my thread as you educate me here. So between 25 and 2026, we can continue to struggle because inflation and everything else is more than the 1% that we're allowed to increase. So we've had pressure. In 26, we're going to have the pressure of all the positions are full. I can see now you guys done a great job, like for the assistant chief and the folks get hired in July, August, you just partial yeared them. So in 2026, we're all here. So the 1.6, it's easy to see how it could grow. And also I struggle with, having watched the District 4 board meeting, which I've never seen a board as amenable to work with another district as them. It was amazing. It's like they're leaning over backwards to try to, within their authority, help fund dual positions. So I have this vision that we have this $1.6 million hole. And if worse came, if we woke up tomorrow morning and we had to make it up, we wouldn't be making up 1.6 million. We'd have to be making up a couple million because everything we cut, we're going to have to give them back their share, you would think. So if we cut your position, per se, pick on somebody who know it can take it.
Yeah.
We'd have to give back, we wouldn't save 100% from yourself.
You'd say 75%.
Right, so the 1.6 really is 2.1. And so using a not having anybody that gives me extra money, I have a tendency to divide how much money I have in the bank account to how much I'm overspending for my woodworking tools to come out. Well, when does things come off the rail? So I see $5.7 million or so in the reserve fund. And I divide $2 million into that. And I got 3.5 years from now, there's nobody coming to my house when I need them like they did the other day. So what's your vision? Do you have a plan on how we're going to be able to stop this freight train before we get to 3.5 years from now? Do you have any ideas?
We are going to have to go back to the voters. And as you and I talked about, a very simple levy it's just going to be, the question you asked, do you want anybody to show up? That's the message for the levy. And it's going to have to be a small, responsible levy. I worked at 9 cents is about a little over $1 million. We're probably going to have to in 2026 do a small levy to help stop the bleeding, and then do another one shortly after that. In the meantime, we've got to come up with some alternative sources of revenue. We've looked, but all of them are small and they take staff time, and that's the part I'm having a hard time working my head around. Is how do we balance that a small revenue stream with what it does to staff, and
Right.
That's what I don't know how to overcome.
Having dealt with this sadly in prior jobs, the money's where the staff is. The PR, getting the block of folks that don't quite understand the fire department, like some of us do, who voted for the levy. I have this feeling that I'm going to run into somebody in the grocery store and they go, hey, you want me to give you more money? But look at all these increases you had last year. All the body. Now the firefighters with, you save money by hiring firefighters, which is absolutely true. But sometimes that's perception is a little bit of a challenge to get across. So I'm very concerned about at what point do we come to a meeting and go, hey, this isn't going to work out. We got to make some major shifts in the course we're on. And then all of a sudden we've gone 5 or 6 more miles and the curve needs to be a lot sharper. And I've laid people off and I hate it. And so when I look at hiring a number of new troops in, they're the first ones that end up having to go. And from our comments and your comments, you know how strongly I feel about the staffing at the stations. I have a hard time with only 3 there. I have an extremely hard time with cross staffing. And there's nothing I can do about that because I got to figure out how to still have 3 people come to my house. So I don't want to sit here a year from now and go, well, we need to take another $1.6 million out of reserves. Because sometime the horn's got to go off and say enough, we can't do this anymore. Because this is a much more difficult fire department for me to deal with than I've had to deal with. Because when the things really got sticky, I wasn't out on the limb by myself. We're up by ourselves. I don't have a city manager or a board of supervisors to go to and say, hey, is there any way you can maybe not give them an extra sheriff and give me a little more money over here.
Right.
It's just us. So I just want to let you know my perspective is, at what point do we go, it just isn't going to work out? At what point do we somehow send messages to the community that, you know, we haven't done everything we can do? So, you know, Chief, that the reason I'm here and got involved, because I wasn't involved in the fire department. Frankly, I've had enough of fire departments. You know, if I never have a bedroom discussion with a union president, I'm happy. But after the levy failed, I said, I got to do something. And so I'm here to do something, and we got to figure it out. So I'll get off my soapbox now.
Hey, Commissioner Anthony, I 100% agree. The preparation of this document has been keeping me up for 2 months. This stresses me out to no end. I will take any and all ideas, and I hope we can work as a team to solve this problem together, because we're all in it together.
Thanks.
Commissioner Anthony, I appreciate your comments and the fact that I'm not the only guy on the soapbox anymore. I think we all share your concerns and are struggling to figure this puzzle out. Because our funding comes from the public, who gets to decide if they want to fund this, that's been the biggest challenge of helping them understand why we need this. There's definitely demographics that exist in our protection area. The communities that support us, your neighborhood, my neighborhood, as the chief said, anybody that can see the water typically is supportive of our requests, but there's a large voting contingent that for whatever reason, we haven't been able to reach and help them understand what this means.
You know, my past experience, if I came to a meeting like this or I was preparing these documents, I would have, this is what the fire department looks like if it lives within its means. No using the 1.6. And this is with the 1.6. A transitional, hopefully, transitional budget to how it's going to be different in 26 and 27. So, you know, when I sit back, my frame of reference is much different because my guys and gals work 72-hour weeks, and so the staffing ratios are different. So, and I don't intend, I tried to read the MOU, and the big leagues is a lot different than the leagues I played in on duty weeks and those. So my frame of reference of how much it costs to staff a fire station, I have no idea anymore. But when I sit there and I go, geez, if we're going to build a fire department that spent 1.6 less million dollars, does that mean I'm giving up the 3 BCs and 3 people, go back in staffing farther? And I think somehow we need to be able to internally at least talk about what's the fire department look like if we were forced to live with our existing budget. So when we talk to the folks on the street or city councilors, or when it comes up, if the newspaper ever writes an article about us, that we can say, yep, this is what we look like right today if we're going to live within our with the budget, because the levy failed. So everybody's expecting that something's going to happen. They're not expecting the announcement that we hired 9 more people. Because you do an announcement, you hired 9 more people, you're not getting 9 cents.
Right.
So what the fire department looks like, we were in a transition year, we're using the 1.6. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying not to hire the firefighters. I might give you a different answer about an AC, but, so we have to be able to have some document that says, okay, if we were gonna live at this budget, this is what the department. And because we need to have information as we talk to the Berry Growers Association on the other side of the highway, as we get more and more into letting them understand what a big part of the fire department actually is, represents to that side of the community, which didn't like the levy. But Washington's different. This 1% thing is amazing to me. But I'm sorry, I yield the soapbox back to Sharon.
All right. Obviously, we are in probably need of more work study sessions with the board. And we can add that to our list of things we need to do this coming year. So for those of you on the board who think we only meet once a month, we probably need to do more than that in order to tackle some of these pressing issues. And thank you again for your comments. So with that, is there anyone else that has any comments about Resolution 2024-10, our ability to collect our 1% amount plus new construction, so that we can not fully fund our department this next year? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, Resolution 2024-10.
Hi.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you, Chief and staff and Jessica. I know there's reams and reams of paper and numbers and calculations. And I know that all of you have done your very best to trim any excess and move things around to where they will best meet our demands. But as Commissioner Anthony very eloquently spelled out, we're only doing that by taking $1.6+ million out of reserves, and that doesn't last forever. So, all right. The consent agenda is our next item of business, and it includes the meeting minutes from November 27th, the joint work session from November 22nd, the special public hearing meeting on November 21st. It has the staff reports, financial reports, and I will read the revenues and vouchers for this month. November revenue, $1,729,173.23. The total expenditures for December were $1,482,993.92. Direct deposit payroll, $432,635.02. Payroll taxes voucher, $104,212.59. Benefits voucher, $265,837. Fourth quarter L&I voucher, $116,481.27. Monthly expenditure voucher for $8,000. A monthly expenditure voucher for $85,345. And capital projects apparatus, which I'm assuming is the tender,
Yes.
$470,519.67. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. So just for your benefit, these items are reviewed by us prior to the meeting. We lump them all together. If anyone, including yourself, has any specific questions or wants to pull an item out or wants to have an item further discussed, that can be done. And now would be the time to do that. If everyone's happy with what they read and understood, then all of these items are approved through one motion. Okay? Does anyone have any comments, questions, or issues with the consent agenda? Have anything you wanna add?
The only thing I would add is that the tender, we was encouraged in November to move forward with the tender purchase. It underwent its inspection this week. It'll be here, it leaves Florida on the 27th. It should be here by, ready to go by mid-January after going through, it's got to go through a couple shops, but it's on its way. D4 is will in all likelihood purchase a second tender in January at their January meeting, and that will allow us to replace our two oldest tenders, which are 1990s vintage.
And what's the timeline on if they were to order another one?
They're going to order a demo unit just the same, so it'll probably be a month or two out.
Okay,
So,
instead of 2 or 3 years. All right. Anyone else? Comments, questions? All in favor of the consent agenda?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. Commissioner meeting reports.
Well, we finally submitted the AFG grant.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll minimize some of our equipment expenses by getting new radios, and we're working on another one for bunker gear. That one opens January 9th. So, doing our part to try to get the things we need and minimize our expenses through grants.
Okay. John, did you have? No. Matt?
No.
Me? The presentation, we had the PowerPoint in here as that was presented to the folks that are doing the study for the county.
yes.
How was that received?
It was a lot of new information, similar to when you and I met with them, but it's in a better, more solid format for them to take back and digest now. Next step will be giving it to, you may have to pare it down a little bit, but then talk to some county counselors in individual meetings.
Okay.
Will be the next step with that.
It's not gonna be given to the council as a whole.
You only give us 3 minutes. So no,
Has it been sent to each one of their emails then?
it is not. It's not just getting dumped out there. It's a, hi, my name's Jason. We want to sit down and talk about this. That's the idea.
I would expect after those one-on-one sessions are done that information might be shared with the whole council, or is that?
Oh, it'll go to the, I would assume it'll go to the executive so that it's on public record. Yeah, but we thought what's missing is the relationship.
Sure.
We're just this blue entity that, for whatever reason, they've decided they don't like. And so we're going to try to put a face to a name and forge some relationships. And unfortunately, the way we're going to try to do it is by showing them what the fire district authority actually is, as opposed to them thinking that they run everything.
Right.
So.
Very good. I forwarded our request for funding to Representative Larson's office. They have a satellite office in Bellingham. That meeting that I thought was Monday was actually on Saturday for the Rick Larson's community meeting, so I missed that. Anyway, we've requested Representative Larson's office to help us with our AFG grant for portable radios, and also asked if they would help fund the rest of what would make our radio system complete. And I think that total package is about $175,000 if it were to be fully funded. They got funding from GSA, a grant for the border crossing to the tune of $3 million, and we were hoping that because of the interoperability issues that are associated with that border crossing, that maybe there would be a few breadcrumbs left over that they could send our way, or maybe know of other pots of money that could be utilized for our communication network. So I have asked that we have an in-person meeting when Mr. Larson is back in town. So hopefully, I think we need to exercise a little more activity politically, whether it be with the city of Blaine, the Whatcom County, our state representatives, which we have planned to go down in February to meet with our state representatives, and then in this case, it's our national representative. So we'll see what happens. We're trying to turn over every stone to find money and support for the operation. Local 106.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. A couple things were announced this month for promotionals for shift captain and training captain. Already got some interest of people putting in, which is good. All our probationary firefighters that are on the line right now just did their 6-month evals. That went well. We're looking forward to the new additions in January coming along, getting ready for all that. And then just in regard to the letter in the packet, just so you guys are aware, that was motioned and passed to send at the last meeting. So and then Chris Hollander has a couple other things, and then if you have any questions, I'll take them.
So regarding the letter, which we'll discuss briefly in correspondence, was that the big local 106 Bellingham, or was this your?
North Whatcom, just our North Whatcom unit.
Thank you.
Yep.
From 106, welcome Commissioner Anthony.
Thank you.
I'll try not to corner you anywhere. Go like that. Local 106 and some members from local from North Whatcom did the shop with a cop at Walmart, and that was pretty fun. Christmas party, Jenny, Jessica, all the admin, and everybody else that volunteered. Kimberly, thank you. That was really fun and really good to get together as a group again. And hopefully there's more stuff like that coming up. Our benevolent fund helped out Sean Ward a little bit, to him and his daughter, and he is doing well. I'm sure we can get more into details about that. We have the grant for the new bunker gear. Delaney's working on that with Commissioner McMurray. That's going well. The union has approved a new county vice president position, so we're getting rid of our political action chair, and we're going to do a county VP and a city VP. So Bellingham will have their own. Excuse me. The county will have the rest. That's going to handle grievances, contracts, political action. Scott Brown put in for that, as well as Tony Melillo from South Whatcom. And then the department I'm not sure if the department or who, but we had Trans Mountain training come in all last week, so the whole department got trained up on the pipeline that runs through our area. So we're all ready. That's it, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Unfinished business. The first item is Birch Bay Station 63, ironically.
We have a draft RFP out. I've got one of the BCs, BC McPhail, working on that. And then I'm also I have yet to talk more with Deputy Fire Marshal Nielsen to get his take on it. And that is asking for the removal and replacement of the living quarters of Station 63 with a modular unit that includes a bunk room, a workout room, bedrooms, bathrooms, a workout room, associated living quarters to be completed. And so that we can just put that out and it just gets done. It will be obviously a capital expenditure that we did not put in the budget because we don't have numbers on it. So we have to do a budget amendment for that. But in the interest of getting it done, I'm just not able to handle all of those things. So I need to punt it to a company. So we'll get legals. Once I get the deputy fire marshal's perspective on it, we'll get it to legal and then get it back to you and we'll get it published so we can get moving.
Chief, sorry to interrupt, just because we're coming right off the heels of the letter that we'll be discussing in just a little bit. What type of time frame are we thinking that would take to get it where people can actually live in it?
We're not going to get it by July 1st. I can tell you that. It's probably going to take. I would assume a 9-month project.
Okay. Thank you.
So probably depends on how much it is modular versus framed up.
Correct.
Old style building or whatever.
It depends how they decide to tackle the project. So.
Any other questions about 63? How was the latest rain deluge? Did we get any reports of water features? Or?
The only water damage or the only water intrusion we had was actually Station 65. In the common areas, no property damage. It didn't damage any drywall or any of our property. It just every time we get a rain like that, it comes up through the floor grates in the bay.
Okay.
So what did you say? About 5 inches?
No, it was only about an inch and a half this time.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the foot we had like last time.
That was actually. All right. Simiano, Station 62, we had sent a letter to the city of Blaine.
I will reach out to the city manager in a more formal way and ask for a formal response back.
Yeah, I mean, is there a time limit?
We didn't put a time limit on it.
Oh,
So.
Wonder if we should.
Could have sworn there was something in the initial agreement that they had a certain amount of time to refuse before it would turn back to us.
I think you're correct. I believe that there was
90 days possibly.
That's what the Commissioner Crawford is suggesting.
That rings a bell, yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it can't go on indefinitely, right? I mean,
No.
you send us out, hey, what are you going to do? What do you want to do? They can't just wait.
So we made the formal proposition to them, right? It's been received by them. I don't know that I think we need to reference back to the paperwork, see what the initial agreement was. And if there's a time limit on it, we sit on it and wait. That would be my recommendation.
Yes.
Chief, what are we gonna respond if the city manager or the city council says, well, what are you gonna do with the money? If we don't take it back?
Oh, as far as if we sell it,
Yeah.
what will we do with the money? Well, it's one-time money.
So I I might reflect on the equipment needs for Station 61, a ladder or something like that, that they can have a feeling of a nexus, that they're getting something for it. So that, maybe you have all the money you need for trucks. Don't know, I'm not into the budget that far, but if there's a way that we can, one, get rid of that liability, and two, be able to put it in the equipment in the 61 and 63 arena, maybe that would give them some more comfort.
All right. So we'll check the date. Would you be so kind to just maybe Jenny or somebody just let us know
Yes.
what that timeline is? And then reach out to them. And I think that's a kind of a nice offer to say, like, what are you going to do with this? Well, we're going to try to make improvements to our response capabilities, not necessarily with staffing, but with replacing the
Right, one
equipment
time.
that is in desperate need. So I like that idea. Tender purchase, we kind of touched on that. We have purchased one. We are hoping that D4 is going to purchase one, and we are expecting delivery in January.
January.
Ours, and hit the road February.
You'll see the radio installed, that's it.
How's it getting delivered?
Is that
How's it getting delivered?
they low boy it out here? They're building Bradenton, Florida, so they low boy it out. You want to drive a tender back in December?
Saying,
John,
take the southern route.
Dan will go with you.
Yeah, take Dan with me.
Dan will go.
oh, let's throw Henry in there while we're at it. So. All right.
Just trying to cut on it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Welcome. We're moving along here. So, any other unfinished business, Chief?
No, sir.
New business. So the first item is Birch Bay Community Advisory Committee application. I was contacted by a very active person in the Birch Bay community, Dora Lee Booth, who I know she sits on the Birch Bay Chamber. I don't think she's an officer there anymore, but she is been involved deeply with the Birch Bay community and the master plan and the UGA and all those kind of things. And for those of you who don't know, the Birch Bay community is looking into whether they want to form a city or not. The population of Birch Bay proper in this area is over 10,000 people, which if they incorporated would be the fourth largest city in Whatcom County. It is currently unincorporated, and a lot of the citizens in that community feel that their voice is underrepresented at the county, and would like an opportunity to be more represented, and the exploration of forming a city is something, the process takes years. In the meantime, they have requested from the county to form this Birch Bay advisory committee, and my association with the chamber and Dora Lee sort of morphed into them holding a spot for North Whatcom to sit on that committee to advise the county of the needs and concerns, at least from our perspective, from a public safety standpoint, to form this committee.
How many people sit on this?
It will be a 7-person committee. One from the chamber, I think one from Parks and Rec. So there's 3 positions that they sort of handpicked. The fire position, the parks position, and the chamber position, and then there's 4 at large that will be chosen by the county through an application process. So to formally be on the committee, there is this application that's in our packet. It was sent to me to bring to our board to find out if anyone besides myself would be interested in being on that committee. Since I am a resident of the Birch Bay community, I think they felt that it would be appropriate for me unless you, John, want to be on the committee.
Is it premature to nominate you for this?
No, that's and again, it would just be our board saying that you approve of me filling out this application and applying for the position. That is up to the county to decide, but it comes with a lot of support, both from the Birch Bay Chamber and Dora Lee, who has a pretty close tie with the county. So
I have this feeling Kimberly and I are both look forward and seconding that you fill out that form.
This would fall under commissioner meetings, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, I brought the application forward to you. I heard someone express an interest to
I move
recommend
that you be the representative.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, Matt?
No, congratulations.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
All right, thank you. Supposedly, it will begin in January, and I doubt it'll happen that fast. Meeting monthly for a while, and then at least minimally quarterly. But my goal of sitting on this is to help point out the deficits in public safety that we have, not just in fire, but police and roads and evacuation and everything else that's involved. And again, from my previous statement is I think we need to be involved more politically, because a lot of these decisions are being made without our input, and we need to be at the table. So
There's a lot of contention about that, as you know, so it's a very political conversation.
well, you know me, I never like to speak out, so I'll see what happens. All right. So we have our meeting scheduled for next year. Jenny has put that forward to us. It follows the regular 3rd Thursday of the month at 10:30. Is that working for everyone? The only conflict right now is the June 19th, which is Juneteenth, which is a holiday. So the recommendation is that although the resolution shows it as June 19th, we would have to pick preferably another day, and it was recommended that the 20th be the preferred day. So can anybody look out into June and say that Friday, the June 20th would be better than our June 19th? I mean, we can always, excuse me, modify that. Is a Thursday or Friday an issue with you?
And this is only a draft, it'll come before you officially next month.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
yeah,
All right.
you don't have to vote on it today.
Gotcha. The only conflict I will have is the September 18th. I will be on vacation out of town. guys can probably handle it without me. All right, so if you want to take a look at those dates, the resolution will be before us at the next meeting, okay? And then we need to just double check, is everyone available January 16th, which will be our first meeting of next year. Thank you. That's why I have you over. Everyone good for the 16th at 10:30? Matt, that work for you?
Yes, that's fine. Mhm.
All right. Correspondence. There, we have the Northern Light articles. The one that I think is most important to address right now as to how we're going to move forward is Local 106 has voted and sent a letter to the board and the chief with concerns about Station 63 and no longer wanting to reside there, and have drawn a line in the sand as of July 1st. I'm gonna be careful here. I'm not sure that labor has the authority to determine where and when we staff. I appreciate their concerns because they're certainly ours as well. You've heard today that we're moving forward with an RFP to try to resolve that issue, and I would hope that there's some maybe more constructive communication that can occur on that issue so that we can resolve this amicably. I know that the chief has plans to forward this to legal on our side for a response. Their office is off for the holiday right now, so we expect when they return that they will have a recommendation for us, and I would suggest that we have a official response ready to go for our next meeting, be in the packet for review. That works for everyone else. Chief, did I summarize that?
It's already at the attorney's office.
Okay.
Richard's out of town, so not. His email, his auto reply says he's specifically not checking email. So
Good for him. So again, I just want our firefighters to understand that this issue is significantly concerning to us from a health and safety point of view, and we are not purposely ignoring it. We're trying to figure out how to fix this with the funds and the time and all the things we're doing. So if it looks like we're dragging our feet, I apologize. But this was the number one concern for me in 2016 when I came on the board. So I am not going to recognize or ask for any comments at this point. Sorry, Scott. So we will be in touch after the January meeting with our response. Anyone else? All right.
Bruce, you almost made it without me saying something. I'd like to add just my own 2 cents on this before we move past it.
Sure.
I did a presentation a year and a half ago on my concerns on some of the conditions in the fire stations. But speaking at a deeply, deeply personal level, as 20 years in public service, wearing a radio on my chest, I developed a potentially terminal type of cancer right over the area on my chest where my radio was, and ended up having major surgery to, stop that from killing me. So I am no stranger to the concerns of public service and cancer, and I'm no stranger to the concerns of, living conditions right now, as I'm a very strong proponent for doing the best that we can for the firefighters in the living conditions. I just wanted to make that known that this is a concern, and it's something that I'll temper the rest of my response with in terms of how I perceive the letter, and I'll wait for further discussion on that.
All right, thank you. Agenda items for next meeting. We will have the meeting schedule. So typically the first of the year, we choose who our chair and vice chair are going to be, and then who is going to represent us on various committees, etc. Right now, we have someone attend the Blaine council meetings. I've sort of been a liaison with the Birch Bay Chamber. We've got the Whatcom County Fire Commissioners group. Who else? I guess that's kind of it. So, I mean, for me, I think us getting more involved in the community, politically, whatever, if us as board representatives have a group or a place. I mean, there's the Simiyamu Men's Club. There's all kinds of these organizations that meet, and would, if there's an opportunity for us to have a face there and be able to get our message out, because we are really seriously limited as to how and when we can communicate to the public what our needs and concerns are. So be thinking about that, and at our January meeting, we'll discuss who might want to sit in those arenas. So, I guess, and then it's the annual input for the fire chief's evaluation. Will you send out the evaluation forms again to the board? So Jenny will send out the template for the evaluations. Those are extremely helpful to me when we compile all those together and sit down with the chief and go over his annual review. So if you could fill those out and get them back to me, I would appreciate that. And then I will schedule a time with the chief after the first of the year. Before we go ahead,
Just two quick announcements. One is I wanted to dovetail the holiday party. Thanks. I did speak to one of the people that was instrumental in starting that, and I was told that if I mentioned her name, there would be consequences, so I'm not going to mention her by name.
Okay.
But I do want people to know that it took hours and hours and hours of planning by a group of people. And I'm very thankful. It was fun to see all the smiles and the kids having fun, and got to meet a lot of babies. It was a great get together. It has been a long time coming, and it was great. I also want to thank the people that showed up. The other thing I wanted to do just really quickly was let the board know that Kelly Freeman passed her SHRM CP test, Certified Professional Test, which is has a first-time passing rate of 65%, so it's not a simple test apparently. But that was something that the board had challenged her to do, and she completed that, and I wanted to let you know.
Congratulations. Appreciate that. The next meeting agenda also, Jenny, I forgot, we'll keep 63 and 62 on there, both stations. All right, we have one more item of business here. Former Commissioner Fisher is here today with family, I'm assuming, brother and sister? Yes? No, brother?
Brother.
Okay. And
Brother's wife.
Ah, okay. So, I will read the letter here, and then we'll. The plan is to recognize Commissioner Fisher, and then we will adjourn the meeting. And there's some little treats here, and we can chit chat and visit and say hi and thank you. So, is this? Can I read this, Chief?
Yes.
From Chief Anderdine. Dear Commissioner Fisher, as you complete almost 5 years as an elected fire commissioner for North Whatcom Fire and Rescue, I'm writing to thank you for your service to the organization and our community. Your contribution to both has been extraordinary, as has your example of public service. I deeply appreciate your hard work and commitment to the organization. Under your tenure as a board member, North Whatcom has endured the COVID pandemic, RFA discussions, and 2 levy lid lift attempts. You have successfully helped the organization navigate these challenging times. As you step into retirement, again, please know that your contributions will be long remembered and you will be deeply missed by everyone at North Whatcom Fire and Rescue. On behalf of the board, staff, and community we serve, I thank you for your time, energy, and commitment, which you so graciously extended to North Whatcom Fire and Rescue. Sincerely, Jason Vandermeer, Chief. So, Scott, if you would come up, we have a plaque for you. I'll come. Scott, this is in recognition of your dedicated service and commitment to North Whatcom Fire and Rescue 2020 through 2024. We appreciate everything you did. And thanks for coming today. Okay. And you got treats.
Mr. Fisher, thanks for everything. Appreciate your time.
You gonna miss your brother?
Yeah.
You can hold on to that one?
Yeah.
All right, so again, we deeply appreciate the time you put in here. And it came at a time when our board was, I would say partially dysfunctional, but we needed your help then, and thank you for stepping up and doing that for us. Definitely appreciate it. All right, we'll adjourn our meeting and sign documents, and if folks want to stay around and thank Commissioner Fisher, we appreciate that. So, I'm going to move to adjourn the meeting, and it is 11:40.
So are you gonna fill this out then?
Yeah.